Yes, indeed. What's happening, world? What up with y'all, man? B Marsh Boxing. Back again. Breakdown and prediction time. Got a fight coming up. WBO vacant title on the line. MAXIM VLASOZ. Man out of Russia. What's his record? About 45 wins, 3 losses, 26 KOs. Alright, he's going to be facing none other than Long Island's finest fighter lately. You know, trying to be the second world champion out of Long Island in the last, what? I don't know. 20 what? Since about 2014, right? Since, what's that dude name? Chris Algieri won a title off Ruslan Provodnikov, right? So MAXIM VLASOZ is going to be facing Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith Jr.'s got 26 wins, 3 losses, and 0 draws, 21 KOs. You know what I'm saying? Joe Smith Jr. is about 6 foot tall. About a 6, what is he? His reach is about, I think, like 73 or 75 inches. It ain't here on BoxRec. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is because I've done other videos about Joe Smith Jr., you know what I mean? And he's going to be facing the Russian, VLASOZ, who's about 6'3" and a half and 76.5 inch reach, you know what I mean? So definitely the Russian is the taller guy, might have a slightly longer reach. But that don't mean nothing for Joe Smith Jr. At the end of the day, a fight is a fight. And VLASOZ is a guy who's an in-betweener. He's a kind of a tweener, you know what I mean? Type of guy who fights at cruiserweight or light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Most of his fights, to be honest, this guy's fought as high as 212 pounds. He's fought in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? He knocked a guy out in 1 round. So definitely, this guy VLASOZ is going to be the bigger fighter. Taller, probably got the longer reach, probably going to be bigger in size too. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes this fight a great fight. And we'll see if the man, Joe Smith Jr., all that heavy duty work he do outside as far as cutting grass, construction, his lawn mowing business, it's a strong mofo. If you've seen Joe Smith Jr.'s back, slim back is built like titanium, you heard? You know what I'm saying? So, Joe Smith Jr. is trying to get his first world title opportunity. Not his first, excuse me. He's trying to get a world title opportunity. You know what I'm saying? You know, Joe Smith Jr. has come a long way. Let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? This is a guy who, I first seen him on the scene when he fought guys like, what was that guy's name? The Polish guy based out of Chicago, Fonfara. That's when he came on my radar. And he knocked that man out in like 1 round. Brutal, you know? I'm saying, then he went and fought B-Hop and knocked him out. Knocked him literally into retirement and knocked him out the ring. Excellent. Now, Joe Smith Jr., you know, he's a crude fighter. You know what I'm saying? When I first seen him, I thought this guy was all punches as far as hooks. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have a great jab. Wasn't really setting up his shots. More just trying to use brute force, brute strength, you know what I mean? More brawn over brains. That's his type of, his style technique, you know what I'm saying? But I could say he's definitely improved, you know what I mean? I think that boxing lesson he got from the man, Dmitry Bivol, that shook him up. It shook him up because that was 12 rounds of total domination as far as being given a boxing lesson. Now, I recall, I can't remember which round, the man did get hurt. Joe Smith Jr. did hurt the man, Dmitry Bivol, but besides that, it was a pretty clear-cut victory for the man, Dmitry Bivol. Ever since then, this guy's been on top of his game, you know what I mean? He's been working on his jab, being more precise with his punching, you know what I'm saying, taking his time, wearing opponents down, and eventually knocking them out in the later rounds. Okay? Now, MAXIM VLASOZ is a guy, you know what I'm saying, he's a big dude, man, strong, tough guy out of Russia. You know what I'm saying? I think this guy definitely got, he got what it takes to keep the man, what's his name? Joe Smith Jr. on the outside, you know what I mean? He's going to have to do that because he don't want to get into no brawling type of fight with the man Joe Smith Jr. That actually plays into Joe Smith Jr.'s favor, you know what I mean? That's his game tactic. You know, so if the man VLASOZ keeps this man on the outside with his longer reach, being the taller fighter, you know what I'm saying, he could probably get it done. I seen this guy fight at 100 and what was it, at 175 when he fought that guy, what's my man's name? Zudo, Gilberto Ramirez, you know what I'm saying? And hey man, Gilberto Ramirez was on top of his game on that one, you know what I mean? I think that was maybe Gilberto Ramirez, was that his first fight at 100 and what was it, 160, 175? As a matter of fact, that's what this fight should have been, really and truly, you know? Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else that Zudo fought. Or was it him? I think it was him. That was some years ago. And Zudo beat him on points, you know what I mean? You check it, that fight probably was at a catch weight if it wasn't at 100, because Zudo wasn't at no 175 back when. And I don't think the man VLASOZ has gotten as low as 168 pounds. Maybe he has, you know what I mean? I know him more campaigning as a cruiserweight, heavyweight, and now he's back to light heavyweight, you know what I mean? You check it, but VLASOZ, if in order for him to get this victory, he's going to have to fight a smart fight. He's going to have to keep this man at the end of his jab. You know what I'm saying? Throw some mean body shots. And he's going to have to employ a lot of movement. And got to see if this man, what's his name? If this man could cut off the ring, you know what I mean? What you call it? Joe Smith Jr. That's what we got to find out, you know? Because VLASOZ is a kind of guy, you know, he throws punches in bunches as well. The man can throw combinations, you know what I mean? From the outside, you know, that's where he's best at, you know, unleashing them jabs, also throwing them right uppercuts to the body, you know, or aiming to the head, but if not, catching man to the body. You know, VLASOZ has a nice skill technique. I think he's definitely a better boxer, and I think he's more defensively sound and responsible than the man Joe Smith Jr., you know what I'm saying? You know, he's not a crude fighter, rudimentary fighter like the man Joe Smith Jr., although Joe Smith Jr. has improved drastically. Now, I knew Joe Smith Jr. would, what's his name? He would beat that man, Jesse Hart. I just knew it. Jesse Hart was not a great fighter at 168. I don't know. He had no business at 160, at 100 and, 175. But the Elidia Alvarez fight, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I ain't think Joe Smith was gonna win that fight, and he eventually stopped him, knocked him out, beat the shit out the man, Elidia Alvarez, a former WBO champion at 175. You know? So VLASOZ, he's gonna have to keep his distance, make that man, basically Joe Smith Jr., have to follow him around and unleash hooks and combinations and get the F up out the way when, if he doesn't seem to be, you know, stopping the man in his tracks, he got to accumulate points and get up out the way. That's, I think, the best way for him to fight this man, you know what I mean? I think the last time I seen VLASOZ fight was when he fought Isaac Chilemba in Russia. And, you know, Isaac Chilemba is a gritty warrior at 175. He gonna make anybody look bad. But VLASOZ, he did pretty well for himself, you know what I mean? Kept Chilemba at the end of the jab. You know what I'm saying? Made it a boxing match, and that actually favors him. Joe Smith Jr. now, in order for him to win this fight, he's going to have to use this newfound jab that he has. He's going to have to rip shots to the body. You know what I'm saying? And he's also going to have to set traps to unleash that mean left hook of his. You know what I mean? He's going to have to set traps. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's throwing straight jabs to the stomach, and then coming over the top with the left hook. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to use all kind of techniques as far as setting up traps, because VLASOZ wants to stay on the outside. Joe Smith Jr. is a strong SOB, and so is this guy VLASOZ. He's obviously fought as high as heavyweight, so this guy ain't no pushover. I believe this is going to be a close fight. But Joe Smith Jr., I think, got the internal fortitude to make this a difficult fight and eventually even stop VLASOZ in the later rounds. And I think that's what's going to happen. Probably going to see a 10th round knockout or stoppage for the man Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith Jr. don't get tired. Okay? Now, I know it's a tall task because he's fighting a boxer, and pure boxers give this guy all kind of problems. Alidi Alvarez, guy with the vicious jab, was supposed to give Joe Smith Jr. all kind of problems. But at the end of the day, the power factor and the strength and just the sheer strength of the man, Joe Smith Jr., as well as improved skills, technique. He's improved his technique, something crazy. I think it's going to get him through, you know what I mean? Like I said, VLASOZ wants to fight from the outside, and he might be throwing lead right hands, you know what I'm saying? He's not as defensive, neither guy the defensive maestros, but the guy don't bring back his hands to his head or hold his right hand like a telephone when he lets combinations go. He does leave himself open. And that's why I see Joe Smith clipping him sooner than later, or even later than sooner. However you want to say it, in the late rounds, I believe he's going to clip this man and probably end the show. That's my prediction. I got a 10th round knockout or stoppage for the kid out of Long Island, Joe Smith Jr. B. Marsh Boxley, your thoughts and comments. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Let me know who you think is going to win this fight, and I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Please share. Hit the like button if you like the content, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm gone. Peace.